of his divine working was going on through this play of cards. It was not just pastime, as people may think. It is avatars playing cards, and it's very difficult for us to understand the inner working which was taking place as these cards were being played by him and directed by him. So I was not good in these cards, but sometimes he invited me to join, and because I was ordered, I also used to join. I also had a share in the game of cards, in the game of these cards. Now, the rule of the game of cards was that the party which had lost the game had to rub the nose. And I used to join both parties. There are two parties in the game, and either this party won or that party won, and one party had to lose. But I used to join both parties in rubbing the nose. It was not actually punishment, it was a privilege. It was because Baba did not, I am giving you explanation, Baba was not allowing anybody to touch his feet. We had deep respect and devotion for him. We wanted to express it some way or the other. It did not matter how we expressed it, you see. Now, privilege of rubbing a nose is one opportunity to give him a devotion which we have for his sacred feet. So I took it like that, and I did it in that sense, you see. So you find me sometimes in a film also. Some westerner had, or it might be probably Jal Bhai who took the film, when Baba was playing cards with his Mandali members, and I was there. And there you find me. There are others also who are rubbing the nose there, you see. Rubbing the nose means those parties who have lost the game, you see. I used to take joy in it, and I used to, this is what I am telling, which nobody knows, you see, that I used to rub the nose whichever party lost. Not when only I lost, that is my party lost, but when the other party also lost. But my idea was to express my love and devotion to the avatar in my own usual traditional way, so to say. Many people express their devotion in their own way. I wanted to express it in my own way. I am beyond all conventions. I am not attached to that way. I am not asking people all over the world to express their devotion to the Lord in that way. But there, in His personal presence, I have done it that way sometimes. I have joined the Mandali members also. But my peculiarity is, I don't know whether it is somebody else's peculiarity or not, but I used to rub noses on such occasions, whether this party lost or the other party, that is my opposite party, lost, you see, irrespective of that. When any party in the game of cards presided over by, when any party lost in the game of cards presided over by Baba, and Baba himself often, almost always participated in it, and as soon as any party lost, the party who lost the game had to rub the noses in his presence. And I sometimes got the privilege of joining this game, though I was not ordinarily a lover of the game of cards. Baba gave me that opportunity, and I utilized that opportunity. Baba used to sit like this, as he appears here in this chair, and I used to rub my nose like this, you see, in order to express my devotion, and I did it irrespective of which party lost the game, in both cases, because the more I got the opportunity of expressing my devotion, the greater delight I received from it, you see. Baba's requirement was that whoever lost the game will rub the noses, you see. And I utilized that opportunity for expressing my devotion. Yes. She is my granddaughter, my daughter's daughter, Sanjeevani's daughter. Her name is Rashmi, and she was only 2 years when she was presented to beloved avatar Meher Baba. Baba held her in his own arms, you see, and loved her very much, fondled her, and he expressed his pleasure by showing this time, not only pleasure, but his own divine blessings. He expressed his full satisfaction about her. This is Rashmi.
Dr. Deshmukh was very much attached to Baba and he wanted to see Baba in everybody. So he was attracted to other saints also. And taking advantage of Baba, his love about Baba, so many other persons wanted to attract him, Dr. Deshmukh, to their gurus also. So there was a person, very, very old person, and his disciples wanted Dr. Deshmukh to take Dr. Deshmukh to their guru and to spend for them and to bring him to our house. But I did not feel or have feeling equally in the same way about that person. So I wrote to Baba first that Dr. Deshmukh is going to such and such a person and I don't like it. Then Baba asked Dr. Deshmukh to take that person to Baba. Then after some time, we went to Baba in summer. Baba had seen that person, that saint, and then he spoke to him, gave some instructions, and then sent him back. And after that, when I saw Baba, he asked me what feeling I had. And after that, when I saw Baba, he asked me what feeling I had about that saint. I told plainly to Baba that I did not like to bow down to the saint. Although I had respect for good persons, still I don't feel like bowing down to that person. So Baba told me that I need not bow down whenever I don't feel like it. And he asked me there should be beauty wherever there is godliness and divinity. And he asked me how I feel about him also. Of course, then the answer is known to everybody that in Baba, everybody saw beauty and truth. Yes, that much I can say about this.
Now, what we have heard is quite true. One thing which we want to understand, which everyone should understand, is that Baba was and is a very great lover of saints. He has never decried any saint whatsoever. He loved them so much that when he descended into the new life, he made it a rule that he will visit at least 7 saints first and bow down to them. He has always described saints with the respect which is owed to them by the generality of the world. So far as the avatar is concerned, of course, avatar is the highest of the high, there is no doubt about that. But the whole world owes deep respect towards the saints, and I want to clarify that Baba has never encouraged disrespect for any saint, high or low. And he has utilized the saints for his work, past saints, present saints, and future saints. And saints have had their own role, visibly or invisibly, directly or indirectly, and a role of no minor importance. It is very difficult for us to understand.
Is that why you went to saints, went after the saints?
Why I went after the saints is known only to myself, you see. I went after
That is what we want to know.
yes, I tell you. I went to the saints because I love them, as Baba loved them and loves them. I also love the saints because they are lovable, and they ought to be lovable, otherwise they are no saints, you see. So it is not necessarily in order to get anything out of them, but because they are lovable and they give us some sort of joy. But there is some sort of distraction in loving too many saints and being after them as has been quoted. Because unless your mind, but there is some sort of distraction in loving too many saints and being after them as has been quoted. Because unless your mind is fully concentrated upon one point, God, it is not possible for us to attain to the highest samadhi or point of concentration and be liberated from the mind. For that, it is necessary to concentrate upon one single point, one single perfect master, or if possible, the avatar. If one gets an opportunity of contacting the avatar, it is the best thing to do, to concentrate your mind and heart upon him and to make him the pinpoint of your love. That does not mean that he wants you to love him in that form only. He has liberation of the soul, your soul, as his objective, and he wants his universal love to flow through you, not only to saints, but to everyone. It is not in order to be just a pinpoint of your attracting you. He is a medium for liberating you and awakening your divinity. What I went for regarding a saint, and this particular saint who was referred to, Baba made some nice comments, and there were some other saints also. And in the initial stages, he said, you need not avoid contact with other saints. Those were the instructions which he gave to me initially. Later on, when these instructions were not necessary at that stage, he said, this is not necessary for you now to go to other saints. I am enough. And I was freed from attachment to other saints, attachment or reliance upon other saints. That is also true. Baba made me go to the saints sometimes. At one time he said, you go and contact such and such a must. He will tell you about my divinity. He will show, though he had not contacted Baba physically at all, and actually it did happen, you see. Sometimes he directed me, sometimes he prevented me. He played his game in his own avataric way. Saints don't very much bother. Saints, and far less God, the avatar and so on, whether you bow down to them or not, you see. They accept both things with a sense of poise and equanimity. They are above normal, super normal, ought to be. And Baba, of course, the highest of the high is. Baba
Sanjeevani, Dr. C.D. Deshmukh's daughter. Ever since I was a child, I've always been associated with Baba. Anything new that has happened in our house has always been informed to Baba all along. Even the results that we had in our exams and the new courses that we joined, we had to take Baba's permission first, and then we joined, for example, dancing classes, which my father always objected to, and Baba never objected to. We got our permission from Baba, and then we proceeded with our dancing school, etc. And we've been very closely associated. We always used to treat him as one of our family members. Every time going out of the house, coming back from, if we ever went out of the station, we had to pray to Baba first. We had to bow down to him, and all along we treated him as one of our elders. What else? One important thing with Baba was that I've always been able to be very natural with him. Even the things that I could not talk to my own father, I could talk to Baba. And of course, it was always through Mummy. Mummy was always there, and Mummy could understand me perfectly. The second best was Baba. Third, perhaps my father, but I'm not very sure of my father. With all apologies and all respects to my father, that one was something about Baba. Then Baba was, of course, very charming. He could understand our difficulties perfectly. When once upon a time we had to go for Baba's Sarvas at Ahmednagar. I had to appear for an exam. My father insisted that I would be there at Sarvas because my father wanted me to be in contact with Baba. And Baba understood my difficulty perfectly. My father said, no, never mind. Even if you miss your year, it's all right. But you have to stay with Baba for that Sarvas. And Baba said, no, you have to go and appear for your exam. You better go back, go and study hard, and you see that you pass. That was one thing that really impressed me at that time. Then the same thing happened about my brother's exam. The same thing, there's another very nice thing. My brother, he can draw pictures. He's drawn this picture and Nehru's picture, and he can draw very many pictures. Now my father, he essentially being interested in Baba, he wanted my brother to draw Baba's pictures alone. Now my brother, because he was essentially a painter, I wouldn't say he's a painter, but anyway, he liked to draw portraits. So he wanted to draw portraits of all kinds and of all people. But then my father would object, and Baba said that no, let him draw any portraits that he wishes. And of course, he has drawn my Baba's pictures also, but then he was allowed to draw then, after Baba's permission, he was allowed to draw other portraits as well.
You can begin. 1, 2, 3.
We have always treated Baba as one of our elderly family members. We were never afraid of him. We have always treated Baba as one of our elderly family members. We were never afraid of him. We were always fearless, absolutely, about anything. And we treated him as one of our family members, like even talking to him, very ordinary things like, Baba, what shall I wear now that I'm going out? Baba, do you like this dress of mine? How am I looking today? Shall we play marbles? Shall we play games? And all these stupid and silly and apparently very idiotic questions we would not mind posing to Baba, and Baba would very considerately and very patiently answer them. And that is why we treated him as one of our family members. There was nothing particularly out of the way.
2, 3.
Then sometimes Baba would call me aside. He'd ask me if I had any problems. If I had, which I don't think were very serious, but then he would nicely guide me to it, explain to me, or sometimes tell me that those problems were not really real problems, and that I should take all those problems in the usual stride. It was just a part of growing up, and that was what he explained to me, and I was more than convinced with his talk. Then even about our education, my father wanted me to take up a certain course. I was not too sure. I would ask Baba. Baba would ask me again, and I would ask Baba, and then Baba would ask me again. Baba would ask me whether I was really interested in that course. And then if he felt that I was really interested, then he would say yes. But unless we got an okay from Baba, we would not proceed on any lines. Then, no, it's all right. Then about my brother, he had instructed my brother to send him a joke every day, Pitaji. Every day he had to write a letter to Baba. Every month, I'm sorry. Every month he had to write a letter to Baba, giving him some joke. Some humorous story or some joke he had to write a letter to. Pranav used to write a letter to Baba. That's all.
When Baba came to Amravati, to our place, there one person from South India brought his 2 daughters also to our place for Baba's darshan. And then when one of them saw Baba, she at once, as if fainted, started crying and shouting, Baba, Baba. There at Amravati she was somehow controlled. But after that, they came to Nagpur also with Baba. And then when she came here at Nagpur, she could not be controlled, and she started behaving just like a mad person. And when Baba saw this, she was not taking any food, no drinks, and nothing. So Baba told him, be taken away from the place, and then I was asked to arrange for her being taken away. So there is one place here, one maternity hospital where I am working at present as a secretary. I arranged for her to be taken away there, and then she was looked after by doctors there, and then Baba went to see her the next day, that is the 4th of January. The place is the area of Nagpur. I have noted many instances like this, that when a person started behaving in an abnormal way like this, being too much sentimental, Baba told the persons concerned that although they were behaving in that way because of being overpowered by the divine love, yet they have to be taken care of as a normal person. And so he asked them to be treated by normal doctors. Thus, it was never in an abnormal way or anything uh, in him that we did not understand, or I don't know what to say. Yes. This year we intend to put a slab in memory of his visit and his blessings to Matru Seva Sangha by putting a slab there in memory of the golden jubilee year of his golden silence and divine silence.
My name is Pranav Deshmukh, Dr. C.D. Deshmukh's son. My memories about Meher Baba are very old, right since my birth. And probably the first time that I remember about having any interaction with him is by way of reflection. Because I remember to have seen a movie which was filmed probably by my father or maybe my brother when I was just 2 years old, walking in the Hanging Gardens at Bombay. And Baba too was there. Then since then I also remember some personal interactions with him. I don't know if I should call those interactions as very intimate ones, but they were there all right. Now, some of the events that I remember are, say, the following. I have had some occasions to play marbles with him, playing cards with him, and then there was I don't know if the following event carries any significance, but it may be interesting, that at Guru Prasad there used to be Aarti every day, and I must have been in my teenagers, just 13, 14 years old, and I used to see that everybody used to close his eyes while singing the Aarti, and I used to feel that the Aarti is always to be sung in that fashion, that the eyes are to be closed. I eyes while singing the Aarti, and I used to feel that the Aarti is always to be sung in that fashion, that the eyes are to be closed. I did not know what it means, so I also followed them. And then one day Baba started admiring me, saying that he seems to be saying Aarti with full concentration. So he asked me, where is your mind when you are singing the Aarti? I said, well, I listen to the others and sing it with them. So he just smiled, means I don't know if that event has any significance, but that's one thing that I remember. Would you like me to tell about the playing cards event as well? Yeah. While playing cards, it's okay. While playing cards, one day Baba snatched away an ace of hearts from my set, and he won the game. And I was wondering as to why I did not win the game. And then Baba announced that as such the game goes to me and gave me the credit for it. And when he was in his seclusion, he never allowed anybody to write to him. So I had a special privilege over there. I used to write a letter to him every month and send one or two jokes. Since he had a very keen sense of humor, he always used to tell me that I would write to him very regularly. This I must have done for several years, in fact, writing to him every month and communicating to him one or two jokes from some. Probably my father must be having some other copies of those letters as well.
Bob used to like your jokes?
Very much, very much.
Could you remember any?
No, it's very old now. It's very old. Now I don't even remember what all jokes I.
3.
About financial help, Baba used to help the poor whenever it was absolutely necessary. And I have seen people coming to Baba in their need and Baba helping them. About one person at Pune, I know this incident, that Baba asked the persons, his secretary, to pay the person 100 rupees or 150 rupees every month. Others pleaded with Baba that he does not deserve so much. But Baba did not listen to their pleading and ordered them to pay that sum. Then again in some case it had happened that the person had misused what Baba gave to him. Then Baba asked that person to come there and see him, and then asked him whether it was right on his part to behave in that way. That person asked to be forgiven, and then he tried to behave himself. Then in some instances we know self. Then in some instances we know that whenever Baba used to go to some place, he used to wash the feet of 7 poor persons and give them 51 rupees or something like that at every such time. And the disciples were asked to find out the deserving persons for this worship. And then again, out of these, if somebody asked help from Baba, Baba always used to give such monetary help. And not only that, but whenever people were in difficulty of settling their problems at home, many of them approached Baba. Those who never were his regular visitors or regular disciples, even then many people used to come to Baba. And I have seen such persons whenever I used to stay with Baba. I have seen such persons seeking his help and being satisfied and being helped in their life like that. Yes.
In continuation with the same thing, I would like to narrate another story, which is my own cousin's story. When Baba had come to Amravati to our house, my cousin, it seems, he had piled up a big amount. He used to go secretly without letting us know. He used to go to a hotel and he had a big amount to give. And Baba called that cousin of mine aside. He asked him whether he was in any difficulty. My cousin was frank enough. There was something about Baba that no one could lie to him straight. My cousin told him what the truth was, and Baba asked one of his Mandali people to spare the amount for that boy, for that cousin of mine. Then he used to go to the hotel and he used to squander money on his friends, either on eats, giving to his friends and eating himself. And he used to stay with us, his father and mother away. And, okay. And then we didn't know about it and his parents didn't know about it, but Baba somehow extracted the truth from him. And then, of course, Baba got him out of that difficulty. People often ask whether when Baba scolded, how could Baba scold? But the thing is that he had such powerful looks that one look of his would completely unnerve a person, and people just couldn't do anything but tell the truth in front of him.
and repent also.
Yes, and repent also.
There was a friend of mine. Now she is a wife of a very rich person in India. At that time, she thought that she can, she knows astrology, and then she she can tell what is going to happen later. Then with this power of hers, she thought that she can do without appearing for examinations. So she did not want to. She she can tell what is going to happen later. Then with this power of hers, she thought that she can do without appearing for examinations. So she did not want to appear for her HSC examination. Her parents pleaded and pleaded, but it was to no effect. Somehow Adi happened to come to us, and at that time that friend of mine was also with us. Then somehow my friend and her brother were taken to Baba, and then Baba had influence upon her mind. Then she appeared for her matriculation. After passing her examination, she went again to Baba, and but unfortunately after that she has lost contact with dear Baba.
Three.
Many of our associations with Baba have been very, very sweet and so blissful that they are truly great, and so great as to be unbelievable. And now that beloved Baba is not in the physical body, and the thing cannot be demonstrated to others or even to ourselves physically, sometimes a feeling comes that it is futile to cling to those memories, and all these memories get thrust back into the subconscious. In fact, it is a type of a repression of sweet memories which should not be repressed. In fact, we should keep them alive, talk to each other about that, keep them alive to ourselves, and share them very freely with each other. Therefore, I congratulate our Irwin Luck in helping everybody to bring back the memories again and keep them active in Baba work. Now, as our memories go back, I remember the beloved avatar as a very dynamic personality, immensely dynamic, spiritually dynamic, physically dynamic also, physically powerful also. It was very difficult for the youngest and the most robust person to run with him or even to walk with him. When Baba was walking, other people had to run fast in order to keep pace with him. His actions also were very quick and full of significance, and it was like electricity. And yet he did all these things with a sense of equanimity and poise, dynamic poise. They all arose out of dynamic poise and infinite dynamic energy. His activity, physical activity itself is unspeakable. That is his dynamism. The spiritual dynamism becoming, that is his dynamism. The spiritual dynamism becoming, expressing itself, becoming visible through his physical activities. When he used to bathe the muss, he was attending to so many things, cutting the hair of the muss, bringing water for him and so on. Even for these small activities, it was very difficult for us to help him in his dynamic physical activity, which appeared to be purely physical. Of course, there is no idea about the immense spiritual activity which he was simultaneously doing at the very same time through that activity itself. But one point which I am impressed with and which I would like to record here for posterity to remember is that it was not possible for ordinary people to keep pace with his activity. We are now living in an age of speed, rockets and aeroplanes and so many other things. And that was all embodied in the movements of Baba. That is the forecast of the age coming. But his speed was divine speed. He was in a hurry to complete his spiritual work, give a spiritual push to the whole world, and he has done it. He was alert. He could desist from all activity sometimes, go in silence. He was silent, of course, for 44 years, but go in seclusion, go in fast, observe fast and so on. His mind was tranquil, very lucid, clear, and yet when he took to activity, whether it was tours, whether it was bathing the musk, whether it was feeding the poor, or even giving his messages, whether he was attending to other details and so on, attending even to his correspondence, he did not do it in a lazy way. He did not hang on. He attended to every little detail and just finished it in no time. So he was a symbol of, I will say, electricity. Electricity is a symbol of physical energy. It's all God's energy. But I will just say, for the present purpose, that he was electricity itself. Baba was very quick in every action, in disposing of everything, howsoever important it might be, and he never made any mistakes in his judgment. He was a great executive power.
And once Baba laughed so much at Dr. Deshmukh's action when he allowed both of us to bathe a must. I was allowed to bathe a lady must, and Dr. Deshmukh was allowed to bathe a man must. So the actions which Dr. Deshmukh was making, Baba laughed so much that amused everybody, and everybody had a laugh at that. Which Dr. Deshmukh was making, Baba laughed so much that amused everybody, and everybody had a laugh at that. It was enjoyed so much because he was very slow in his movement, and he was never accustomed to do this in his life. So everybody had a good laugh.
Actually,
My mind
father,
was-
even pouring the tea from the kettle, slowly he will lift it up, drop by drop.
And
the
when
tea
he-
has fallen.
when
Baba
Dr.
would
Deshmukh-
laugh out fast, tuck, 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 and finish off the job. Once when I happened to go with Baba to some college, and the function was at an appointed time, and Baba was to reach, as we started a little earlier, and we were to reach before time if we had gone the normal speed. But then Baba made Adikaka halt a little, and then we reached there at the gate at the appointed time. I think it was 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock, I'm not very sure. But then Baba was very particular about being punctual at all places. He himself was very punctual about things. People often wonder as to how Baba talked to us, but we, people who have been close in contact with Baba, have never felt his silence. He was so expressive. He had such an expressive personality, such a, what did you say, what was the word that he
Mobile
used?
expression.
Mobile expressions on his face, that he could express the most minutest of the details. He could very clearly express to us, and he could extract from us also, and he would rightly interpret all the things that seemed to others quite vague. Otherwise it was quite difficult to express those things, but then to him somehow we could tell all the details. We could express, we could talk things which he could interpret rightly, and when he talked and gave us some answers, we could also interpret him rightly. I don't know how it went, I don't know, without words. Because despite words, we are not able to communicate our right thoughts and right interpretations. So many times we misunderstand others. I mean something which you understand differently. But with Baba, it never happened that way. Somehow he just understood the way we meant it to be understood. So that was something very unique about him.
With regard to the discourses and their validity and the interest which Baba took in them, I want to mention this point in particular which has come to me as we are discussing. the past days, you see. There is a discourse on violence and non-violence, the meaning of violence and non-violence and their spiritual value. And Dr. Abdul Ghani Munsif, who was the editor of Meher Baba journal, made some mistakes in printing that discourse in Meher Baba journal. Mistakes occur in a few places. Baba never liked it, and Baba wanted all these mistakes to be corrected. After they were printed and even circulated and published, the mistakes were corrected by him in a very peculiar manner. He wanted the original thing to be published, then the corrected thing to be published, and in red. The corrections were to be printed in red. And if anybody has access to Meher Baba journals of the past, you see, they are treasured there, they can get this thing verified, what I am saying, you see. How the corrections were made by Baba himself, they were by Baba's special order, that these corrections should be in red ink. And he insisted upon all these corrections, verbatim. So many things in red ink have been corrected, you see. So that is an evidence of how Baba satisfied himself that everything that appeared in the discourses series was thorough and perfect and as he wanted.
Only then you got these.
Yes, now my mind goes back to the Nasik birthday, attended by a few Western lovers also. And I remember very vividly how our beloved Avatar Meher Baba attended to every little detail regarding that program. He knew what the Western lovers will require. He planned everything. In fact, he attended to everything required by everybody, all Indian lovers as well as Western lovers.
And both the styles.
And in every style of living according to their expectations. And he had this capacity of attending to minute details and requirements and adjusting everything according to a particular plan. And the wonderful thing is that he not only got the plan, but he was very keen that the plan should be executed, and he posted his own people to see that the plan was executed properly. He was very particular that everyone should be punctual, everyone should carry out his orders immediately and without any question. There should be thorough discipline, and there should be no confusion anywhere at all.
So, hot water.
With regard to the Western ashram in particular, probably that was the first Western ashram of Baba. Hot water was provided for, soap, and such every little thing, and he not merely gave orders with regard to that, but he saw to it himself. Soap was provided for individually, peace and so on. Mrs. Deskmukh herself went and inspected all these things, and she has got a very good memory with regard to these occasions because both of us were there on that occasion. It was one of the best birthday celebrations that we have attended. We have attended many of his birthday celebrations. In every birthday celebration,
About having one cup of tea only, you got then only.
Yes, yes. Some of the orders